So hi guys and welcome to another video. Today and IDK what I'm doing.
We continue from yesterday. So yesterday at the last we said you need to learn click the button and then reload the page, right?
Yeah, I just changed the time to 100 seconds today.
Okay. But we just want to test the thing, so we change back to maybe
1 second.
to the end straight away.
So we're gonna save this as a project. I actually don't want to delete this project.
That's okay, we can keep it. So after we remove the event listener for this click button, the text has changed. We need to add another event listener to make it click and go to somewhere else, right? So let's copy this. So this should be a function. So inside the function, what we will do is to reload the page. So there's a thing called the location. That is the current location of this page. And we can just say current location reload. And that's it. So we just reload the page.
Let's try it out.
It's already reloaded. Yeah, it's reloaded. So when you click, it reloads. Okay. The other thing about the location is that it can go to another location. It's like a link.
Can the location track you down?
Not really. Only your mommy can track you down. So
what do you mean? I thought you could track me down. If I go to school, you can track my bag down.
So the location, also like the A-link, got the HIF, so hyperreference. So if you give it a link, it can actually, the browser can redirect to that link. Let's just say YouTube. So now when you click the link, it will go to YouTube.
You cannot access YouTube with your Google account. Your access is restricted by your administrator.
Okay.
So get out of this website right now.
Okay, so that's the leftover from yesterday. Today we'll learn something new. So look at these two CSS. They have the exact same content, right? So we put those things on those two IDs. One is a button, one is a div. But as a programmer, you usually shouldn't repeat yourself, right? Because the computer should do those things for you, not you repeating yourself. So in the CSS, there's a thing called a class. So a class starts with a dot. So if this is our, say, give it a name, default text class. Okay, so we put all those things in this default text class. So this will have all those CSS. Now we don't need those IDs, but instead, on the attribute of those elements, we need to say class equals the class name. Yeah. So that will give them the same CSS. So as you can see, let's change the timer. Yeah. So the text, they're all the same. Yeah. So that's how you use class. Yeah. So if they share the same style, you can give it a class name, and then give the class name to the element, and then they will look the same. So I think yesterday you asked me about the EM and IEM. What's the difference? So so EM is let's give you an example here. Let's say inside there's a P. For example, if the div has the size 20 objects, there's some text here. This is 24 text. So the P here, if we say style font size 1 em, this will give the P the same size as its parent. So this P is inside the div, so its parent is the div, right? So the div has font size 24. This P will have 24. This is 24 px. So let's have a try. Yeah, so they look the same. However, if we say this is rem, rem means the root em. The root em is not his parent, but the parent of the parent to the top. So the body is the root. So rem points to 16px. So this is actually a 16ps paragraph. Okay, becomes small. Okay, so that's how em and rem works. Cool. That's, I think, yeah, there's one more thing I want to teach you today. That's another JavaScript. So as you can see, we've used this getElementById and getElementByTag before. There's another one called document.querySelector. So the query selector is using the CSS naming way to get the elements. So for example, if we want to get the should click button ID, should we use it for here? So this one, we're doing this getElementById should element count, right? So if we use this to replace the getElementById, this is the ID, right? So ID in the CSS, we use the hash key to indicate that it's ID. Yeah. So you can actually do this instead of getElementById. So inside this query selector, this is all the CSS selector all the CSS selector here will work. So this is a simple way to get the ID. So everything still works. Okay. Now, if we want to get not just the ID, but also all the classes, all the elements with the classes, this will also help us. For example, at the beginning, if we want to set the default text class, the class starts with a dot, right? We want to set their style size to be bigger. If we say their font size is 3, do you think this will select all the elements to make both of them become 3em?
Okay.
So this button is not changed. It's still 2em. Alright. Because this one only select the first element that matches the CSS selector. If you want it to match all the selector, you need to say so this one will return you a list, just like the getElementByTag. So since it's a list, you will have to say
wait, 3.
So otherwise you need to do a loop, right? You just loop the whole thing. Now they are both 3. So the selector itself can also do there are also other CSS selectors. For example, if you don't want to use the all, you just want to use the selector without the list, but you still want to indicate this is a div, this is a button. You can at the beginning say this is a div, because in the CSS, when you just say the tag name, you also indicates that's the tag. Remember? So for example, this body is a tag. So if we say the tag is div, the class is default text, you will find this one. Also, if we say button and default text, you will find this one. Yeah. So that way, it also works as we expected.
Click it.
Okay.
No, you got the worst one in the world.
There are more of those kind of selectors. You can go to the reference. So there are so many ways to select a lot of things. Yeah. You can have a read all those things if you like. So you can do even attributes. You can do a lot of those things. Maybe in the future episodes we'll introduce some of those. Okay. Okay, I think that's all for today.
Okay. So bye guys.
Do you remember anything we said today? If you don't forget, you can just watch our video again. Yeah, that's the point. We do those videos here. Bye.